When people talk about models for instructional design, they often talk about models for the processes that guide the design. Instructional design has been around for many decades and was originally an attempt to apply general systems theory to solve instructional problems back in 1965. ADDIE arose from that attempt and remained one of the most popular instructional design and development models for decades. It was initially a process model developed for and adopted by the military to standardize training material creation for people that did not have a background in instructional design. ADDIE consists of 5 phases. In the analysis phase, you identify the learning needs of your target audience, select the course objectives, gather information about the learners, the content, and the environment, and develop the scope and goals of the course. The design phase, in which you will use the information gathered during the analysis to design the course. At this point, you will decide on instructional strategies, select instructional media, and create a detailed plan for the course content. You'll have a blueprint for the course at the end of this stage. The next stage is the development stage. In this stage, you will create your course content, develop your instructional materials, and create any assessments. You'll also ensure that the course materials are aligned with the course objectives. The fourth phase is implementation, when the course is delivered to the learners. The final phase is evaluation, in which you evaluate the effectiveness of the course by gathering feedback from the learners, assess the achievement of the course objectives, and review the overall performance of the course. This phase helps you identify areas for improvement and refine the course in the future. ADDIE is a logical, well-thought-out process. For those new to design, it can provide comfort and structure, but does not tell you how to perform tasks, just what tasks need to be performed. Recently, several new models have been developed based on the frustrations about the limitations of the ADDIE model. The first of which is that ADDIE requires significant documentation of the steps. This requirement is supposed to minimize misinterpretation by other members of the team. However, it relies strongly on the written word, which we know is not equitable. It also requires that the documentation be translated later into instructional materials. This process is inefficient and does not allow for proper user feedback early on. The user is only considered at the beginning and the end of the design, which does not allow for feedback along the way or adaptations. It can be an incredibly slow process, especially if the result does not meet the needs of the user. Design models should foster collaboration and creativity. If we're going to live our values, we need to utilize an instructional design process that aligns with those values. The ADDIE model was originally a linear model. Since we now know that a linear process is an inappropriate way to design, the ADDIE model has attempted to change in a way that is both too rigid and too flexible, making it hard for designers to be clear on what needs to be accomplished. The ADDIE process has become a family of processes due to the many adaptations made to overcome its weakness. 2 related design models have emerged recently out of frustration with ADDIE: the successive approximation model and the pebble and pond model. The successive approximation model, or SAM, is an iterative instructional design model that involves continuous development, review, and refinement. The SAM model consists of 3 phases: preparation, iteration, and implementation. SAM provides maximum opportunities for review, evaluation, and correctness of decisions. SAM is optimized to produce the best possible instruction given time and budget constraints. SAM emphasizes the learning experience over the presentation of content. Learner experiences are mocked up first, then the most promising are fitted with content and tested with learners as soon as possible for refinement. This sketching or creation of disposable prototypes is used to share ideas visually and assess functionality early on. Devising initial usable prototypes for all content before polishing them for any content is a key feature of this process. Another common model that has emerged recently is the pebble in the pond model. The pebble in the pond design process is a metaphorical approach to designing products, services, or experiences that emphasizes the importance of understanding the ripple effects of design decisions. Just as a pebble thrown into a pond creates a series of concentric ripples that radiate outwards, each design decision has the potential to affect many different aspects of a product or service. The goal of the pebble in the pond design process is to help designers anticipate and consider the impacts of these ripples effects when making decisions. The process typically involves identifying the core purpose or goal of the product or service, then mapping out different touchpoints or interactions that users will have with it. Designers can then analyze the potential impact of each decision on other aspects of the product or service, as well as overall user experience. It is important to note, however, that the pebble in the pond model focuses primarily on the instructional design phase. The pebble model assumes that the front-end analysis, to extent, has already occurred and does not emphasize the production, implementation, or evaluation of the final product. While the SAM and pebble models were developed independently, they share a lot of similarities. They both share an iterative design process, meaning they optimize efficiency through the elimination of unnecessary tasks. They both utilize operational prototypes and minimize the use of documentation. They both focus on the outcome of the performance and the problems learners will need to be able to solve with the goal of producing highly beneficial learning experiences. The fact that they were both developed independently but share great similarity has lent credibility to both of these design models. It is important that the instructional designer understands that no model is perfect, but should only serve as a guide to help teams communicate, collaborate, and work efficiently. These instructional design models are processes and do not tell you how to create instructional content or design user experiences. They are project management tools that help guide the project team in their work. Good project management strategies help ensure equity by distributing knowledge across the team, allowing team members to have autonomy in their roles, and providing opportunities for collaboration and creativity, all while ensuring that the requirements of the project are met efficiently and within the constraints of the project.